Hey there guys, and welcome back to Love Live School Idol Festival. I'm here today with something you've all been requesting, and for very good reason. It's the Score Match Event Guide! Yes! Feel the thrill of competition as players pit their carefully constructed waifu teams against each other directly to see who's got the prettiest princesses in town! Oh, and who's better at rhythm games or whatever. I joke. But actually it's not too far off from the truth, honestly, because as we'll see, rhythm game skill is almost secondary to team strength when it comes to these events. I mean, yeah, you're probably not gonna place well if you can't even get a combo going on Bokura no Live, but let's just say there's a reason why situations like this are extremely common in Score Match. Rhythm is not the only skill being tested here. Anyway, before we begin, if you haven't watched my team building guide yet, I recommend you check that video out first. I'll be going forward assuming you already know how to build optimized teams. So if you don't know how to do that yet, then pause this video now and go watch that guide, either by clicking the annotation here, clicking the YouTube card icon in the top right hand corner, or by following the link in the video description. I'll also sort of assume you've seen my token event guide as well. I'll cover a few points again, plus a few that have changed since that video, but I won't go into as much detail just to avoid repeating a lot of the same information across both videos. Basically, I'm assuming you already know what tiers are, how to find tier cutoff predictions, and how to find past cutoff event numbers for JP events, you know, stuff like that. If you don't know that information, it's all in the token event guide, and to be honest, you should watch that anyway, because really, you need to know how to play both types of events to be successful in this game, because school idols are serious business, dog. You know, what it is. Anyway, okay, everyone on the same page? Good? Alrighty, then let's get moving! So what are Score Match events? Well, they are School Idol Festival's first and so far only method of direct competition against other players. Sure, in token events you compete against others to see who can rack up more points, but you don't ever actually interact with those players or get to rub your score in their face unless you know them personally outside the game and are just good friends like that. In Score Match, though, going to the event page lets you match up against 3 other players on a random song, and whoever gets the higher score in that match is the winner. All players get event points for playing, but the higher you place in a match, the more points you get. So ideally, you want to get first or second place in those matches as often as possible. Of course, the most important part of racking up points in any event is pretty much the same. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Do not let your LP bar sit at full. A full LP bar is death if you let it sit like that too often, especially if you're aiming to get the SR or reach the top tiers. There's a little wiggle room in there for making sure you get a sane amount of sleep. Like, you don't have to feel bad if you need a full 8 hours and you can't be arsed to wake up in the middle of the night to play a few songs. But other than that, just keeping your LP bar from filling up throughout the day will help you keep your event points at a decent level. You can see the token event guide for more specific tips on how to achieve maximum efficiency and calculate how much you need to play to reach your goals. Note though, the Yefta event calculator mentioned in that video has gone down a few times in the last couple months. As of this recording, it is back up, but in case it goes down again, you can find a link to an alternate event calculator linked in the descriptions of both this video and the token guide. Alright, so, assuming you're gonna play efficiently, what next? Well, you have to spend your LP on something, so you should make sure you're spending it wisely by choosing the right difficulty. Luckily, this part is a lot easier than it is for token events. Ideally, if you can play hard, you should play hard. If you can score at least a B rank on most hard songs, then you'll get more points per LP on average than you would playing normal. Even if you can only score C on a few songs, hard will still tend to work out better for you in the long run. Now, if you can't clear hard for whatever reason, that's okay, or if you consistently score C or under because you're a new player or something, that's also fine. In that case, you can play normal. That's the only time I'd recommend that difficulty, though. Also, I would recommend never playing easy, because it's just really not worth it. Don't play it unless you're low on LP and just that desperate to play another song. And as for expert, also not worth it for most players, surprisingly. Expert songs get you about the same number of points per LP as hard ones do, and hard songs are a lot easier to S rank and full combo consistently. So hard tends to be the difficulty of choice for most players unless they just really like expert that much. That and expert does save you a bit more time than hard. So if you're short on time and you have the skills and teams to pull it off, then it might be worth it to switch over to expert. There's a bit more math you can do to be absolutely sure which difficulty is best for you, but that's a bit more advanced than we'll be able to get into here. There'll be a link in the description if you're interested in those more advanced mechanics. For now, the TLDR version, if you can B-rank most hard songs, you should be playing hard. If you can't, play normal, and if you're too cool for school, play expert. Okay, so once you have picked your difficulty, you'll be given a song and a chance to select a team. Like, I don't want to use my normal team for Start Dash, so let's pick my Smile team. If it's pure, pick pure. If it's cool, pick cool. It's pretty simple. And next, you'll be taken into a lobby screen where you'll wait for other players to join a match. This is a full match already, so that's good for me. Just a sec, let me get out of this match and go back to the lobby screen so that I can show you a couple more things. Okay, so back to one that I've prepared earlier. Okay, so we're in the lobby screen. While we're here, I should note a thing. The card icon you see for other players in the lobby is whichever card that player has on their menu screens in-game. It is not the leader of the team they picked for the match. That's why it looks like so many people in this lobby right now picked the wrong team for a cool song. They didn't pick the wrong team, they most likely have a proper team, but I don't know that because I can't see their real team leaders. And if you want to see the other side of this, here's a screenshot, courtesy of Dan Kyoko, of a game we played last score match on Wild Stars. I did, of course, use my regular cool team, which has that UR Nozomi as its leader, but to Dan and the others, it looked like I used my N team because I had Akira set as my main girl. So that's how that works. Hope you're not confused by that going forward. Yes. Okay, no more tangents. Back to the lobby. While you're waiting in the lobby, you can tap your icon and enter a preset chat phrase to the other players, which is the closest you're going to get to trash talk in this game. Yeah, good luck. Good luck eating my dust, nerds! Oh, suck it! Anyway, once the lobby's full, or if it fills up right away as it did here, you'll be taken into the song, where you should do your best to hit as many perfect notes as possible, and ideally full combo. And then when you're done, you will either go back to the lobby screen and wait for the other players to finish, because, you know, server lag is a thing, or you will go straight to the final score screen. Here you'll see how you placed among the other players. Ideally, if you played the song well, that'll help you place higher, and indeed that does help you rank higher more often. However, depending on how strong your opponent's teams are, they may sometimes score higher than you despite having a lower combo. Why's that? Well, here's how the matchmaking system works. The game strives to divide players into rough scoring divisions, ensuring that, say, a player with an all-UR team isn't going to go up against teams full of normals. We don't know exactly how the divisions are split, or even if there is a strict split, but we do know that the range of team strengths you'll tend to come up against can be anywhere from about plus or minus 20% different from yours. So you could be up against someone 20% weaker than you, or someone up to 20% stronger. That's enough of a difference that it should motivate you to keep your team building skills up to snuff. The more optimal your team, the higher your chances of being in the upper range of a score division, and thus the higher chances of coming in first or second place. Anyway, so you finish your song, you see your placement, you get your event points, and then you go back into the main event page and you start a new match. And on the basics front, that's pretty much it. From there, you just keep playing your heart out. If you're pretty efficient with your LP and you're playing on hard, that alone will almost certainly be enough to get you the unidolized SR, which you'll usually reach at about 25,000 points. If you're cutting it close near the end of the event and you're not sure if you'll make it or not, then spend a few extra love gems on LP refreshes to make sure you reach that point goal. And if that's all you want out of an event, then hey, you're done! Kick back, relax, and enjoy your new SR. If you want the idolized SR though, then like with token events, you need to spend more gems to rack up the extra points you need. Events have been getting more competitive on average as of late, so I'm slightly revising the number of gems you'll want to use to reach the top tiers. If you're aiming for tier 2, you want to use at least 10 to 15 gems on LP refreshes at the start of the event. And if aiming for tier 1, use at least 15 to 20. After you've used up those initial gems, play efficiently as normal until the last day or two. Don't worry about checking the leaderboards until then, it'll just stress you out. Once you're on the last day or two, then you can check the leaderboard and see where you stand. Right now, of course, I'm not very high because it's earlier in the event and I haven't been playing very much, but imagine that I have a higher rank right now. If you check the leaderboard and you're still in the tier you want, or if you're just outside of it, then continue playing as normal. If you've slipped significantly, pump in some more gems and get back up to where you need to be. And either way it turns out, you don't kick things into overdrive again until the last 4 to 6 hours of the event. Those last few hours are the wonderful rush, as it were, where everyone scrambles to boost their scores at the last minute. It's during this time that you should keep an extra close eye on the tier cutoff numbers, and make sure you're ahead of them by a healthy margin. For score matches, you want to try and stay at least 2,000 points above the latest cutoff at any given time, since point surges in score matches are much larger than they are in token events. You should ultimately be aiming for at least that many points above whatever the final predicted cutoff is. And especially if you can't play during the last hours of the event, you should do whatever you can, whenever your last play session is, to shoot as high above the predicted final cutoff as possible. You can find an automatic predictor for the English server linked in the video description. If all goes well, then you should end up in the tier you want and score a lovely idolized SR for your trouble. You shouldn't have to do anything super fancy beyond all of what I just said to achieve this, because really, playing efficiently and using gems are the two strategies that make up the bulk of any player's points in events. If you do want to learn a few more advanced techniques you can use to keep your scores high, though, stick around, there's a bit more. Now, you may have wondered earlier, what if I can't play every song well? What if one or two of my teams are good, but my others are total crap? Am I doomed to 4th place when a song I suck at comes up? Well, luckily there is something you can do to ensure that you only play your best songs. If, say, you join a match, and you decide that you don't want to play it for whatever reason, like, God, I don't want to play Start Dash again, you can dodge it. When you're in the Team Select screen, or in this first lobby screen here, you can force close the app. Hitting the home button on your phone or tablet, and then force closing the app from the menu bar should be enough. And then when you load the game up again, your LP will be back like nothing happened. Then you can go back into the event page and hopefully get a new song. Hey, Love Wing Bell, there we go. That sounds good to me. But if I didn't like Love Wing Bell, then I could just force close right out again. And you can do this as many times as you like until you get a song you want, no penalties suffered. You won't be 100% locked in until the lobby screen goes black and the song's album art pops up. Get out any time before then, and you're golden. Just watch out though. Like you saw earlier, sometimes the lobby will be full as soon as you enter it, giving you a very short amount of time to force close. For this reason, I recommend force closing on the team select screen when you can. There's less room for error there. Okay, so this idea of dodging is useful enough, but there's another related tactic you can also take advantage of. First though, I have to explain bots. When you're waiting in the lobby and not enough people in your score division join the match in time, bots will appear and fill whatever free spots are left. You can tell bots from real players pretty easily. They'll always be named something student, like Weepy Student, or Genial Student, or Administrative Services Manager Student. Also, the part under the name that says player will have a gray outline rather than the usual blue one. Anyway, the thing about bots is that their scores are generated based on the score of whichever player joined the lobby first, the lobby's host, if you will. The host is the player in the top left-hand box. If that's you, that means any bot scores will be based on your score at the end of the match. Specifically, their score will be anywhere from -10% to +10% of yours. Meaning that essentially, anytime you're in a match with a bot, that bot has a 1 in 2 chance of beating your score no matter what. This isn't so bad in a match with only one bot, but with 2 or more bots, the chances that 1 or more of them will beat you are way too high, especially with 3 bots. If you get in a match with 3 bots, dodge out of it no matter what. That is not a good matchup for you. You only have a 12.5% chance of getting first place in that situation. It's not good. You dodge right. Get the heck out of Dodge right now. Where things get interesting are matches with 2 bots. The best thing you can do about them is something called mutual dodging, which is a term coined by Umida, whose research into score match mechanics I'm cribbing on heavily for this guide. Thanks, by the way, Umida! If you're the host of a match and one other player joins followed by 2 bots, you should dodge. Not only is at least one of the bots likely to beat you, because they're your bots, there's a good chance the other player could beat you too, since you don't know how strong their team is. That makes 3rd or 4th place a very likely scenario. So when you dodge, you save your LP for a better matchup, and thus more points going forward. Of course, after you leave, I don't have a recording of this so you can't see this, but after you leave, you and your bots will all show a score of 0 to the other player, and thus let them get an automatic first place. Now you might be thinking in that case, hey, that just gives more points to the other player, so why should I dodge? Well, to quote Umida, it's called mutual dodging for a reason. For one thing, making sure you only play favorable matches, meaning matches against other human players who are more prone to messing up than bots, ensures that you will get better point multipliers on average, which more than makes up for any small amount of extra points you give to random players along the way. For another thing, if the practice of mutual dodging becomes more common, then there's a greater possibility that you will become the beneficiary of it at some point. If you join a match where another player is the host, and then 2 bots join after you, you should stay in the match, because those 2 bots will be based on the other player's score, not yours. That player is in the same situation you were in the previous example. They can either risk a likely 3rd or 4th place, or they can dodge. If they dodge, then great! They get to save their LP, and you get an easy first place. Haha, awesome! And even if they stay in, you still don't have to worry as much because, again, they're a human being and thus prone to screwing up. Even if their team is a little stronger than yours, a screw-up may cause both their score and the bot scores to be lowered, giving you a higher chance at first or second place. Sure, it's still possible that they'll be stronger than you and play perfectly, leaving you in fourth behind them and the bots, but the chances of that happening are significantly lower than they would be if you were the host. TLDR, if you find yourself in a match with 2 bots, check where you are in the lobby. Are you the host? Then consider scratching another player's back by dodging right on out of there in search of a better matchup. Is the host the other player? Then stay in and hope that they scratch your back in return. Or at the very least that they fall victim to their own bots for lacking such generosity. For more details on exactly why mutual dodging works and the math behind it, you can check the link to Umida's Advanced Score Match Mechanics Guide in the description below. Okay, almost done. Last couple things I want to mention. Number 1, you know how you can use a normal team to help manage your LP when you're about to level up in a token match? Yeah, that's not going to work so well in a score match. Playing a match with your normal team is just going to hurt you. Best thing to do if you're in a bad place LP-wise before a level up is just to figure out how many easy or normal songs you can fit in before that level up. Number 2, if you're playing the event for love gems and don't care about the SR, the best tiers are tier 3 and 5. Tier 5 will get you 4 love gems and is great for when you want a low stress event period. Tier 3 gets you 3 love gems plus a scouting ticket, which is still a decent amount of gems, plus you get a free solo YOLO. Go for that if you want to give it your all and go for the SR, but don't particularly care if you idolize it or not. And number 3, sadly, playing songs in Score Match doesn't count towards your regular song records or achievements. So if you finally full combo that one song with an evil beat map that's been taunting you for freaking ever, and you could cry from the sheer joy of finally conquering it, yeah, that full combo ain't getting recorded. You'll have to full combo the song again outside the score match to make that happen. Sorry to say. Oh man, I think that's finally it. I have said about all I can say about score matches. Again, there are a bunch of links in the video description to event resources and advanced guides that will give you more details and math and whatever if you want to read them. If you have any questions, ask in the comments and either I or some of your lovely fellow viewers will do our best to answer. Or you can hop on over to the LLSIF subreddit and ask in the event mega thread, which is always teeming with people ready to help out with events however they can. Hopefully this all helps you with the current Honoka event, or with any other score matches you're playing in the future. Hope to see you guys later! Goodbye!